The year was 1992, a time when the American Midwest was a landscape of serene small towns and endless highways. A shadow fell across the American heartland, casting a pall over the peaceful communities that dotted the landscape. An unseen predator stalked the byways of Interstate 70, leaving a trail of blood and terror in his wake. The highways, once symbols of freedom and adventure, became paths of dread and despair. He was dubbed the I-70 killer, and his reign of fear gripped the nation. Communities that once felt safe were now shrouded in fear, their trust shattered. His victims, innocent shop workers, their lives brutally extinguished. These were ordinary people, going about their daily routines, unaware of the lurking danger. His motive? A chilling enigma. Despite extensive investigations, the reasons behind his heinous acts remained elusive, adding to the terror. But just as swiftly as he appeared, the I-70 killer vanished. His presence, once a constant threat, disappeared without a trace. He disappeared into thin air, leaving behind a tapestry of unanswered questions. The authorities were left baffled with no clues to follow. The case went cold. The leads turned to dust. The once active investigation became a collection of unsolved mysteries, gathering dust in forgotten files. Yet the memory of his crimes lingered, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk even in the most ordinary corners of our world. The fear he instilled continued to echo through the years. Even today, decades later, the I-70 killer continues to fascinate and horrify. His story is a grim chapter in the annals of American crime, studied by experts and detectives alike. He is a chilling embodiment of the unknown, a stark reminder that some mysteries may never be solved, or will they? The search for answers continues as the shadow of the I-70 killer looms large in the collective memory. The I-70 killer's spree began in April of '92. His first victim was 24-year-old Robin Freudenberg. She was found murdered in a shoe store in Indianapolis, Indiana. Her bright future snuffed out in an instant. The brutality of the crime sent shockwaves through the community. Over the next few weeks, the killer struck again, and again, and again. His victims were predominantly young women, all working alone in retail stores along or near Interstate 70. The body count rose. Michael McCown in a music store, Patricia Magers and Patricia Smith in a bridal shop, all in Missouri. The fear was palpable. Then, as quickly as it began, the killings stopped. The last confirmed victim was 54-year-old Nancy Kitzmiller, found in a ceramic shop in Wichita, Kansas. The I-70 killer seemed to vanish, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and unanswered questions. The I-70 killer's methods were chillingly efficient, almost surgical. He would enter the stores, often in broad daylight, and shoot his victims at close range. There was no sign of a struggle, no evidence of robbery, sexual assault, or forced entry. It was as if he was a phantom, appearing and disappearing at will. Adding to the mystery was the baffling lack of evidence left at the crime scenes. Fingerprints, DNA, the murder weapon, all were conspicuously absent. It was as if the killer was a master of his craft, meticulous in covering his tracks and leaving no trace of his identity. The I-70 killer's ability to evade capture only added to his mystique. He became a ghost story whispered in hushed tones, a chilling reminder that some predators walk among us, unseen, unknown, and always just out of reach. Despite the lack of physical evidence, investigators did have some leads to work with. Eyewitness accounts provided fragmented glimpses into the killer's appearance. He was described as a white male, between 5'7" and 6 feet tall, with slender to medium build. Some witnesses mentioned a mustache and a distinct, unnerving gaze. Composite sketches were released, attempting to capture the killer's likeness. The images, based on eyewitness descriptions, depicted a man with sharp features and a hauntingly cold expression. These sketches, circulated widely by law enforcement and media outlets, became synonymous with the I-70 killer, putting a chilling face to a nameless terror. But the sketches, like the leads, eventually led nowhere. The I-70 killer remained an enigma, his true identity hidden behind a veil of speculation and fear. Section 5. The trail runs cold, but the questions linger. Years turned into decades. The I-70 killer case grew cold, the task forces disbanded, the leads dried up, but the memory of the crimes and the victims whose lives were cut short refused to fade. The mystery of the I-70 killer's sudden disappearance continues to baffle investigators to this day. Did he die? Did he flee the country? Was he imprisoned for other crimes, his true identity remaining a secret? The lack of answers only fueled speculation. Theories abounded, ranging from the plausible to the outlandish. Some whispered about a possible military background, pointing to the killer's methodical approach and ability to vanish without a trace. Others speculated that he was living a normal life, hiding in plain sight, his dark past a carefully guarded secret. Section 6. Echoes in the Darkness. The I-70 killer's case, though cold, cast a long shadow over the years. The chilling nature of his crimes has left an indelible mark on the collective psyche of the communities affected. Over the years, there have been several unsolved homicides both in the United States and abroad that bear striking similarities to his modus operandi. These cases, scattered across different regions, have baffled investigators and haunted the families of the victims. The precision of the killings, the lack of evidence, and the eerie calmness with which the crimes were committed have left detectives puzzled and frustrated. The seemingly random choice of victims, from different walks of life, ages, and backgrounds, adds another layer of complexity to the case. All these factors have led some investigators to consider the possibility that the I-70 killer may not have stopped at all. Instead, he might have evolved, adapting his methods to avoid detection. Could he have changed his appearance, adopted a new identity, and continued his spree of terror under a different guise? The idea is both terrifying and plausible. The notion that he could be walking among us unnoticed sends chills down the spine. It raises questions about the nature of evil and the lengths to which one might go to conceal it. While such connections remain speculative, they offer a glimmer of hope that the I-70 killer's reign of terror may not have ended in 1992. The possibility that he could still be out there keeps the case alive in the minds of those who seek justice. They fuel the hope that someday, somewhere, a new piece of evidence will surface, shedding light on the dark mysteries that have eluded resolution for so long. They fuel the hope that someday, somewhere, a new piece of evidence will surface, a crucial clue that will break the case wide open. A witness will come forward, someone who has been holding on to a piece of the puzzle, perhaps out of fear or uncertainty. And the truth, however dark and disturbing, will finally be revealed, bringing closure to the families and communities that have been haunted for decades. Section 7. The Ghost of I-70, Living Among Us. The possibility that the I-70 killer is still alive today is a chilling thought. This elusive figure who once terrorized the highways could be walking among us, hidden in plain sight. The fear that he might still be out there living a double life sends shivers down the spine. Could he be living a seemingly normal life, blending into society, his true nature a secret buried deep? Perhaps he has a family, a job, and friends who have no idea about his dark past. The thought that he could be someone's neighbor, colleague, or even a friend is deeply unsettling. Or is he a prisoner of his own past, haunted by the ghosts of his victims, forever looking over his shoulder, waiting for the day his crimes catch up to him? Does he live in constant fear, tormented by the memories of his heinous acts, unable to escape the shadows of his own making? Some experts believe that the I-70 killer's profile fits that of an organized offender. This means he was likely meticulous, planning each crime with precision, leaving little to chance. His ability to evade capture for so long suggests a high level of cunning and control. This suggests a methodical mind, capable of meticulous planning and capable of compartmentalizing his dark side, allowing him to function in everyday life. Such individuals can be incredibly difficult to detect, as they often present a facade of normalcy that masks their true nature. The idea that a serial killer could be living among us, undetected and unsuspected, is a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most ordinary lives. It challenges our perceptions of safety and trust, making us question how well we truly know those around us. It is a sobering reminder that monsters don't always lurk in the shadows. Sometimes they walk among us in broad daylight. They could be anyone, anywhere, hiding behind a mask of normalcy, waiting for the right moment to reveal their true selves. The I-70 killer may be out there, blending into the fabric of society, a ghost among the living. Section 8. Unmasking the Phantom, a collective effort. Despite the passage of time, the I-70 killer case remains an open wound. The families of the victims deserve justice. Law enforcement agencies across the country are still actively seeking answers, driven by the belief that even the coldest of cases can be solved. But they can't do it alone. They need your help. Every piece of information, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, could be the missing piece of the puzzle that helps crack this case wide open. Do you remember anything from 1992 that might be related to the I-70 killer case? Did you know someone who fit the killer's description, someone who exhibited unusual behavior, or someone who suddenly disappeared around that time? Section 9. Every tip, a piece of the puzzle. Perhaps you've heard rumors, whispers of a past life or a hidden secret. Maybe you've dismissed it as idle gossip or small-town lore. But even the smallest detail, the most seemingly insignificant piece of information, could be the key to unlocking this mystery and bringing closure to the families who have waited so long for answers. Don't hesitate. Time may pass, but the pursuit of justice never sleeps. Every tip, every lead, every memory, no matter how fragmented, brings us one step closer to unmasking the I-70 killer and ensuring that the memory of his victims is never forgotten. Your call, your email, your information could be the one that finally brings this nightmare to an end.